We're here tonight because public media matters.
Sit in with us as we get the inside out. Off the record.
There's always a story beyond the school.
Happy this pint class, and thank you for being here.
I feel excited.
I feel happy.
You can feel like a spark.
To remember happy times.
I feel loved.
Balloon breaths. This is WKAR. I'm Sophia Salaby.
You have to be in the spot to hear the story.
You're listening to classical music on 90.5 WKAR.
It's so important to be part of the community.
Okay. Should we have
Good job!
Always stay curious.
Woo, I did it.
Good afternoon. I'm Sophia Salaby, all things considered local host and producer at the station. We're joined here now by our leadership team, Sean Turner, General Manager, who has already introduced himself, Melanie McGuire, Senior Director of Development. Melanie oversees all fundraising efforts here at the station. Ashley Smith, Senior Director of Content and Education. Ashley guides our editorial strategy that includes WKAR original TV programming and radio programming, as well as news, and also our education efforts, a lot to do. And Brant Wells, Senior Director of Station Operations. Brant oversees the teams and systems that deliver our content to you through radio and TV broadcast, cable providers, and digital and online platforms. Thank you all for joining us today.
Great. Thanks, Sophia.
I get to ask my bosses all a bunch of questions. So I want to start with last year. It was a moment of real challenge, I think, for everyone on this stage, for a lot of people in the studio right now, but also one of incredible community response. So can you remind everyone what WKAR lost and what that meant for us as a station?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Sophia. And again, thanks to everyone for being here. As I said in my opening, one of the most difficult years that we've ever had. When we realized that we were going to lose federal funding, we knew that we would have to make changes here at WKAR. As I said, it was a $1.6 million cut to our operating budget, wiped out overnight. Those funds are funds we use to bring you original programming, to bring you PBS programming, NPR programming, and to bring all the amazing events that we have here at the station. We had the difficult task of reducing the size of our team. We lost about 25% of our team. For a long time, there was a cloud hanging over WKAR. This team that's still here has been through a lot, but they've been extremely resilient. And as we went through that difficult time, the people in this community really just stood to the forefront and said, you know what, we believe in you guys. We believe in the work that you do. So we lost a lot, but we made those changes early. We got through the difficult time, and now we're at a point where we feel very strong as a station.
This might be another question for you, Sean, as well as you, Melanie. We're talking about this community support. What did that do for this station, or what were we able to do with that support?
Well, yeah, the community really stepped up. It was our best fundraising year yet.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. The urgency, the commitment to the station, we felt that when I would go out and talk to community members and donors. It was a confirmation that public media does matter, like you said earlier, Sean. And you might be hearing this tagline, sustain what matters, build what's next. And I think what Sean was saying about a cloud, like, our community stepped up for us, and it's a partnership. We only can do what we do because you all stepped up and wanted to make sure that we were going to be here for the next 100 years.
Yeah, and I'll just add that as Mel said, a record fundraising year, and it was made this team understand that this community values what we do. Obviously, as we think about the future, we understand that this community was in many ways responding to the moment. We saw record donations across the country for public media stations. But we're also, as we'll talk about here shortly, we're also thinking about the future. What does that look like, 2, 3, 4, 5 years on? And that's when it really gets difficult. We'll have to prepare for that, and that's what we're going to talk about a little today.
Coming to today, I kind of want to go down the line with each of you, starting with Brant. How has WKAR changed in the last year when it comes to our mission, maybe our focus in what we do, the culture here as well?
This last year was challenging, but with every single challenge, there's absolutely opportunity. And one of the things that I've been really proud of WKAR and this team is rising to that challenge. How have we changed? For me, operations, looking at technology and things, it's how can we be more efficient, even more efficient on efficiency. Thinking of new ways. It's really, while we felt kind of in a box, it challenged all of the staff to come together and look at a new way of delivering content. How do we get it out for the community? What does it mean to be a public media station? Even for me, like being in technology and so forth, we've started to do new partnerships and build on partnerships that, were here a little bit ago, but like as we look at, the next year, we're sitting in Studio A. This will be our early voting center for East Lansing again. And I'm looking at what does it mean to be a public media station beyond just content and getting it out there. We want to be more in the community now. And it's really helped shape my thinking. And I look forward to the future.
Ashley?
Yeah, thank you. In the content space, we've had a lot to look at this past year. It has been challenging because we've had to look at every program and service that we provide the community and evaluate, if the community is getting what they need out of it. We've had to look at how many resources goes into each one. And so a couple examples of what we found over this year. One is that we found that our audience really engages with public affairs content. Most of our public affairs programs get the highest ratings on television. So that's Off the Record. We've done specials like Aging Answers, Decoding Disinformation. So this year our content strategy really moved in a direction of doing more content like that, because aside from our audience really enjoying it, it's also some of the more easy to produce content. It has less post-production, so it's more efficient, so we can provide more to the community. Another example of something is looking at ways that audiences are evolving. So Curious Crew, we said goodbye to our beloved show this past year, and that was really intentional because we looked at the amount of resources that went into the show, which was pretty significant, and then we looked at how young people are consuming content today. So we noticed young people are consuming shorter and shorter content. They're not watching 30-minute episodes. And when they do watch, they're looking to see themselves on the screen as the host. So this year we're launching 3 shows. One is Curious About Careers You've Seen Before, likely. And then we're also curious about Michigan and curious about civics. And those are going to be digital first shows hosted by kids. So we're really excited to have things like that. And the final thing I'll just say about what's changed is the way that we're operating internally. We have less staff, so we have to be more creative about the way that we're serving our mission. So as well as I, Sophia, in the news department, we've got many freelance reporters working with us. And in a time when we're not able to house as many full-time positions, what we can do is have temporary positions or part-time positions out so we can ensure that we're telling the story of every community still.
To you, Melanie?
Oh, I don't know how I can top that. I just think that our community and the way that we are operating is about efficiency without losing that human connection. I think that's really important to the Mid-Michigan community, but beyond that, and I think that's what's special about public media, is that we're going to deliver the content, we're going to deliver the story, but we're going to make you know that there's a connection, and we want to make sure we're taking care of the humans that we're telling the stories about.
Yeah, and I would just add that with regard to that connection, Brant talked about, Brant and Ashley both talked about new things that we're doing. When it comes to that shorter content for young people. Make no mistake, we're not backing off of the idea that the quality of that content has to be extremely high. We have to make sure that what we're giving young people is helping them from an educational perspective. Freelance reporters, absolutely, but they come to WKAR understanding that there is a standard because we serve this community with factual information at every turn. So while we're getting more efficient in these areas, we are not backing off from the idea that we're going to be really extremely high on the quality.
Going back to you, Melanie, you talked about what fundraising looked like last year. What will the funding need to look like to sustain WKAR, not just this year, but over the next 3 to 5 years as we adjust to kind of this new reality with the way public broadcasting, not just here, but across the country works?
I think I take it back to the connections and making sure that it's a partnership with our community and that they know that we're only successful because of the work that we're doing in tandem with them. So I could say, in 3 to 5 years, I'm going to have this goal. Financially, I don't have a crystal ball, that's it. It's magic and it's crystal, I got it. But I think it's always been about connecting with people, making sure they understand what we need. I think we've been really vulnerable this past year, and that's worked for us because people know how to help us. And if we're clear about our priorities and not compromising on the excellence, which is our hallmark, then we're able to move forward. And we just have to be flexible in that space.
Yeah, and I'll just add that Mel doesn't like it when I say this, but I don't like asking for money. I really don't. But I know that we ask for your support a lot, and people come up to me and they say, your campaign's really strong this time around because we ask for support a lot. But just know that because my view of this is that when we ask for your support, we must be delivering something to you that allows you to feel like it's worth it to send in that check or to have that money come off of your credit card every month. We want to make sure that you feel like that's worth it. So what I would say to everyone in the community is just know that we ask for your support because we really we need it. We believe in this mission, and we know that you all do as well. And we are never going to ask for support that we don't need. It's critical to our success here at WKAR.
Going down the line again, and I'll start with Brant again. If you could describe how you feel about WKAR right now in just one word, what would that be?
I'm lucky I get to go first.
Yeah. There's no repeats.
It's going to take the word we all want.
Yes. With going first, I'm going to say this last year has proven that we're resilient.
No explanation. I'm going to explain mine.
I mean, I'm more than happy to explain. I mean, I'll go with, why are we resilient? We had to make some tough choices. And even with funding, one of the roles that I had this past year was, renegotiating with vendors and how can we really be as intentional with every single donation dollar that we get. And again, evaluating, not that we've been just throw money away or anything like that to vendors, but I will say it isn't just this community, but also vendors have heard about what we've been going through, not as just an individual station, but as public media. And while I like that support that we got this past year, can we rely on it in the future? And I don't know what that answer is. But if anything, despite all of this that's happened, we're still here and we're growing in what we are producing, what is out there. So it's just proven that we are strong because the community is strong that we are supporting, and we're here for that.
Good explanation. I'm going to say proud. And I say proud because it's been said several times up here already, but this team has been through a lot over this past year, and even before that, because even before the loss of funding, we had months and months of wondering and not knowing what was going to happen. So despite all of that, despite the loss, this team has kept doing the work and kept showing up. And I think the fact that we're able to show up today and in a moment show you some of the new content that we're going to have, and the fact that it's still growing, I am beyond proud of this team and of everybody who works here, and just grateful to be a part of it.
What word do you have?
It gets worse, you know, like I'm like, man, it's gonna be a lot on you. Sorry, friend. Committed. I think this past year, I've been fundraising for WKAR for 8 years, and I think it's renewed my commitment to my community that I grew up in, to the kids that are growing up here in this community, and to the families and folks that rely on what we do. So, committed.
Big build up, Sean.
I like that word. I think my word may surprise my colleagues up here, but I hope it's a word that will mean something to every person here in the room and every person listening. My word is strategic, and I want to tell you why I believe that strategic is the right word to describe where we are. In the coming years, every public media station across the country is going to have to figure out how they will keep their head above water, how they will stay on the air, how they will continue to serve their community. The unfortunate thing is that many of those stations are going to start to think about that when it's right at their door. We are not doing that here at WKAR. Right now, while this phenomenal team of leaders is making sure that on a daily basis that we're serving our community, I am thinking about what we can do here to ensure that when other public media stations are struggling, that we can say, we've already anticipated this, we're planning for this. And I'll just share with you, we're thinking about things that we can do here at WKAR that will serve other public media stations here in Michigan. To be really candid, if those stations start to struggle a little bit or they're looking for efficiencies, I want them to turn to WKAR and say, can you help us with this? And we're putting in infrastructure to be able to do that. We're creating new content, new programming that's not just about mid-Michigan, but it's about Michigan, so that when other stations have decreased capacity to create programming and content, they can come to us. I want to make sure that this station is indispensable to every person here in Michigan. So we're being strategic, and I think that's what we're going to continue to do, so that we can make sure that we can not have to keep asking for so much money. Although Mel will, she
She'll start seeing my name. Like, oh no.
As we look ahead to what's next, Sean, you're taking on a new role in the College of Communication Arts and Sciences, which is what WKAR is also a part of. Can you share what's next for you and why it's important that we talk about this with our community today?
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for the question, Sophia. So the first thing I want to say is that I'm not leaving WKAR. I love WKAR. I love this job. I love this team. I love this role. I was asked to step in as the interim director of the School of Journalism here in the College of Communication Arts and Sciences, while also maintaining my role as the general manager at WKAR. So I'm going to take on that role as interim for about a year. The reason I initially said no to the offer, because this is where I want to be. But when I took a step back and really thought about precisely what I just said to you, I thought about being strategic. I realized there's a real opportunity here, not only to serve the School of Journalism and all the faculty and staff there who are absolutely phenomenal. It's an amazing school, but also to realize the synergies between what we do here at WKAR and what the School of Journalism does. In this room, making this production possible are a bunch of really phenomenal students from all over this college. They are the ones who are the future of public media. So in my role in the School of Journalism, I'll be able to find those synergies and help bring these two organizations together, but I will still be fully engaged with this leadership team here at WKAR.
As part of Sean taking on this new role, Brandon Ashley, you'll be taking on some of his responsibilities, which is exciting. How are you tackling this transition?
Yeah, well, first, I'm just really excited that I have these three people still with me. I think we work together incredibly well, and I don't feel that we're going to struggle at all with any of this. But I will say I'm kind of looking at this from two different angles. The first is you may have seen Sean out in the community a lot. Sean does a lot of speaking, engagements and hosting and meeting with community members, and he'll continue to do that. But also I will try to be out there more as well. And I'm really excited about that, especially because as I'm trying to create new content and experiences, I can only do that by speaking to the people who consume our content and knowing what they're looking for. The other thing I'm thinking about is internal. It's our processes. We've gone through a lot of transition this year as we've had to adapt new ways to work with less staff, less resources. And so I'm going to be taking a really close look at how we can continue to strengthen those workflows so that the team at WKAR can feel secure.
Brett?
While Ashley's out there, I'm going to be working in the shadows. So, I'm really excited about this because Sean hit on it, strategy. And what I'm going to be focusing on is strategy for WKR here in this community, but again, as it relates to the entire state of Michigan. So we're looking at how can we build infrastructure, not only to better solidify our position, but I'm working with other general managers here in the state of Michigan in order to see how can we do shared services and how to be more efficient so we can all equally have more impact in our local communities. But I want WKR to be that hub. So I'm really looking at the technical side of that. But what that also means is how can we potentially be looking at bringing more legislative content to the communities in a more efficient manner. So really, it's just all of these different kind of partnerships that I'm going to be focusing on that will have major impact for WKR, but also the entire state. Because as Sean said, our goal is to make WKR not just is going to be indispensable for this state, and as such will be here more impactful in our local community.